All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the philosophical bones of a really incredible modern myth, the dialectic of the hollow sun. We're going to pull back the curtain and see how this story builds its tragic hero, not just on feelings, but on a solid framework of some seriously powerful ideas. And it really all boils down to this one line. This right here is the core belief, the operating system for our main character, the Wanderer. But you gotta understand, this isn't just a cool motto. It's the fundamental law of his reality. And as we're about to see, it's the very thing that seals his fate. So, what makes this story so compelling? I mean, beyond the cool sci-fi stuff. The real magic is how it weaves together three major philosophical traditions into one single heartbreaking story. And here are our three pillars. First up, we've got Fichtean idealism. This basically sets the rules of the game, the physics of this universe. Then you layer on the Nietzschean struggle. That's the intense psychological horror our hero is running from. And finally, you have the Faustian bargain, the classic deal with the devil that lights the fuse on the whole thing. See how they stack? Each one builds on the one before it.
Okay, so let's start with the absolute bedrock of the Wanderer's world. This idea, pulled straight from German idealism, says that struggle isn't just, a good way to build character. No, it's the only way to even be conscious in the first place. The rule is simple. To exist, you have to resist.
And the key concept here is this German word Anstoß. It basically means the check or the pushback. The best way to think about it is like friction. You can't know who you are, your I, if you have nothing to push against. Without an obstacle, without that resistance from the world, the self just doesn't form. It can't.
And this just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have the I. That's us, our consciousness, always trying to figure out what it is. And on the other, you've got the not I, which is, everything else, every single obstacle. Our very identity is forged in that opposition. And that struggle, that's where all meaning comes from. No friction, no self, period.
So here's the big takeaway from that rule. If you get the prize without the fight, the victory is meaningless. It's a hollow power. You might have the crown, but it doesn't mean anything because you didn't earn it according to the laws of reality. It's not just a feeling, it's a fact in this universe. All right, so we've got the rules of reality locked in. Now let's talk about the crushing psychological weight of living by those rules. We're moving from the universe's physics to the character's internal terror. And that terror has a name, the Last Man. I mean, just let that sink in. Chilling, right? The Last Man is this vision of humanity that's just given up. A creature that only wants to be comfortable and safe, that runs from any real challenge. This picture of a pointless, cozy existence, that's the Wanderer's personal hell. It's what keeps him up at night. And this puts him in an impossible spot. On the one hand, he's terrified of becoming the last man, this apathetic creature. But on the other hand, he's offered the image of the new man, a being of pure power, whose footsteps sound like thunder. But here's the catch, the temptation. He's offered this ideal not as something to work towards, but as something he can have right now, instantly. And of course, that offer leads us straight to the story's big turning point, the classic Faustian bargain. But forget about demons with pitchforks. The tempter here is something way more modern and, honestly, way more terrifying. Just look at this guy's job titles. He's not a devil, he's a broker. The CEO of this new hell, the institutional spirit of negation. This is so brilliant because it reframes evil as this cold, cynical corporate force that's betting you'll always choose the safe, easy option over the difficult, meaningful one. In the product he's selling, it's simple, powerful, and absolutely diabolical. A divine shortcut. He's offering the Wanderer, the destination, all the power, all the glory, without a single step of the journey. He's offering a way to cheat reality itself. And the tools for the job are just as slick. Look at these names. You've got the Gnostic engine, mixing ancient, secret knowledge with industrial power. The Silver Key, a perfect metaphor for getting access you didn't earn. And the Miracle Mechanism, which makes godhood sound like something that just rolls off an assembly line. So the Wanderer, backed into a corner by his own terror, takes the deal. And this, right here, is where the tragedy kicks in. Because the solution he grabs to save himself ends up creating a nightmare far, far worse than anything he could have imagined. Because his new existence is built on a lie. It's a philosophical lie. He has all this infinite power, but because he never forged it in the fire of resistance, that Anstoß we talked about, it's completely hollow.
He has become a walking, talking violation of the most fundamental law of his universe.
And this is the gut punch, the ultimate tragic irony. Let's just walk through it. What was his greatest fear? Becoming one of the passionless, apathetic masses. And what's the outcome of his deal? He becomes a god whose entire job is to force that comfortable apathy onto the entire world, which makes him, in the end, the architect of apathy.
He earns his final, damning title. He becomes the god of the easy path. In trying to escape his fear, he ends up becoming its ultimate champion, forcing his own personal terror onto everyone else for all time.
And this final image just says it all. A hollow sun. It's got all the light, all the power, but it shines down on a world that's been completely gutted of the one thing that makes life worth living: struggle, meaning, purpose. And so the story leaves us with this one huge question that hangs in the air. It's a warning, really. It forces us to ask ourselves, what's a victory worth if you didn't have to pay the price? What's the real value of an achievement won without cost?